In this video, you're going to see a complete walkthrough of how to fill out your Google Local Service Ads application so you can start generating leads, sales, and most importantly, beat the crap out of your competition. Before I get started, I do this for a few companies now, so if you'd rather get rid of the toughest part of getting your local service ads up and running, go ahead and click the link below and book a call with my team and we'll give you a walkthrough. Now, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so the first thing you can do is go ahead and just Google Local Service Ads. And then the first link that you're going to want to click is right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Now on the next page, it's going to ask us to sign in, even though if you can see like right here, it looks like I'm already signed in. So you just go ahead and click sign in. And then again, make sure that you're signed in here so I can see that I am. This is like my testing account that I utilize. So in your case, you're probably only going to see this new local services ad account right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then it's going to say earn your badge of trust. This is basically just kind of the page before you start your application. So click continue. Now, the first thing you're going to do is check your eligibility. So what you can do is, or what this is for, is to see if local service ads is applicable and available in your area. Most of the niches and industries that are available, most of them are nationwide. In the rare case, you may see if your niche is one of the options available, you may see that it's not available in a specific zip code here that you select. So what you can do, if for some reason it comes back and it doesn't say it's available, you can always basically go backwards and then try a different zip code. Because I know a lot of times, a lot of businesses serve or can serve multiple zip codes. So for this purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and say California, and I'm going to say 92078. And for the job category, I'm just going to go ahead and say, all right. And then, so once you have the country, state, and one of the serviceable zip codes and your job category, you're going to go ahead and click check eligibility. And in this scenario, I know it's to come back and say that it's fine. And so what you'll see here is you just want to confirm you have your best email address right here. And then you're going to make sure this says continue creating a new account. Most of you won't have an existing account. So go ahead and click next. Okay. And so this pop-up isn't always going to happen or always appear. It doesn't let you like click off of it. So all you have to do is click get started. And this is basically just kind of reemphasizing what it can do, where you only pay for calls and messages. You know, they even offer like a phone number here to help walk through the application. Their support is actually pretty solid overall too, unlike other platforms I've tried. So I'm going to go ahead and click get started. Business name, I'm just going to say Kyle's Awesome Roofing Business. It asks for the business registration name. That is optional, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Phone number, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that is there. Because I'm on Google Chrome, it auto-populates some stuff here. Website is optional. If you have it, I would just put it there. And then it's going to say select message preference for receiving leads. I personally like getting text messages only, so I'm just going to leave it as text message. And then when you scroll down here, for the owner's first name, obviously it's the same thing. This is just an example here. So I got my name, Kyle McCarthy. You can put the business physical address here. If you don't actually have a physical address, then you're going to want to use whatever you use for your taxes. Place that there. And then at the bottom here, this is going to ask, is this a location that customers can visit, like a store or an office? So in this scenario, most businesses will. So we'll just say yes, and then go ahead and click continue, or sorry, next. Oh, my mistake. So it says years founded. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 2000. And we are in the year 2024, near the end now. Total number of field workers. This is if you are a company that has people that work for you. They're also going to want to do a background check on them as well. For this scenario, I'm just going to say 0. And then I will scroll back down and click next, and we should be good to go now. Another very, very important area here. So when you are picking up, and so like I just got a text message saying that you're going to receive, you'll receive text from Google Local Service Ads for all new messages. So that's just letting you know. So once you get to the next page, it should prompt you for that. Very, very important here. So here in the example I'm doing as a roofing company, I like to get hyper specific and utilize zip codes of areas that I am willing to service. You can do cities and or zip codes. So like if I do, let's say Escondido, California, I'm going to do a zip code in Escondido, California, 92026. That's also in Escondido. So as you can see right here, like it's graying out the 92026 zip code because that is in the city of Escondido, California. And so I prefer to use zip codes and get hyper specific. Everyone knows their business, better than I will. So you can just basically plug in all the areas here. But what I found is a lot of times, in like bigger cities, sometimes there's some zip codes you want to stay away from. So I like to, one, you can either just put the city here and then down here you can exclude zip codes. So like I'm going to remove 92026 here, and then I'm going to put 92026 as an exclusion. So like right here, you can see it's doing Escondido, but it's excluding that one zip code, which covers here. So that way, again, you're really focusing on areas you want to for your business. And so really do your homework on this. If you are a marketing company doing this for a client, or if you are the owner trying to set this up yourself, make sure this is always set up as best you can. You can't always come and edit this. So it's not like if you do it one time, it's going to be like set in stone forever. So that's just an example there. You can do cities and or zip codes. I like to get really specific and do cities with zip code exclusions, or you can just do all zip codes of the service areas that you want to service. Make sure this is as accurate as possible, because if they're sending you people in certain areas and you say that you're not willing to service that area, that can come back and ding you and potentially have you getting calls and messages like on a daily basis to like not so many. So very important area here. So I'm just, for this purpose, I'm just going to say Escondido, and we'll just do this one exclusion here. And we'll add a couple more cities here. So we'll say Vista, California, which is nearby. And so then it opens up and you can, again, really kind of plug and play. You can zoom in here, zoom out, etc. So we'll go ahead and click next. All right. Another very important section here. So I said I was a roofer in this scenario. And so for the roofing client that I have now, they really didn't want to focus on like gutter repair, skylight installation, gutter installation. They wanted to focus on the big jobs. So for them, and all we did was roof inspection, roof repair, roof installation, and roof damage repair. On all of on all the services I've seen for the few industries I've looked into this for, it usually will say other. I do not encourage that, because that could really, it's too broad for me. And so like if I leave like attic and gutter blank, but I say other, it just potentially opens the door for a lot of other options of services I don't want to focus on. And so for roofing, it was really all about, roofing stuff and what the bigger jobs are. I've also set this up for chiropractors, and so it's going to really give you a list of like the treatments you can offer. I've set it up for towing companies, so again, it lets you kind of know like what type of jobs you want to show up for, etc. So just again, take your time on this. Make sure it you click the things here that you are going to want to show up for. So then it's going to ask if you have a professional business license. You can go ahead and say agree. As you do, of course, go ahead and click next. So now this is the business hours, which is also very important. So I'm going to go ahead and say in this scenario, I'm open Monday through Friday. Basically, this is important because you want to have it list areas the times that you are available to take incoming calls and messages. So if you are a bigger business and you have like a dedicated person for that, only put the times here that you are willing to show up. So you can do a straight 9 to whatever time. We'll just say like 7. You can do 24 hours as well. If you have that, again, if you miss phone calls, you're going to be billed for them. So I would encourage you to set up these times really specific. So if you're a company that like has a lunch break as an example, so we'll say 9 to, and then we'll say 1 to 7, we'll say 10:15, just gets right there. So like you can see here, I'm available 9 to noon, and I have a 1 hour break for lunch from 12 to 1, and then I'm available again from 1 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. And it gives you intervals of 15 minutes, which is really cool, so you can get really hyper focused there. So make sure, just again, before you submit this, double check this. You can edit this, but it's just kind of a pain because then sometimes it takes a day or so to process. So you just want to make sure that it's really hyper focused to when you and or a member of your team is available to answer all the phone calls. So once that is done, we're going to go ahead and click next. All right, adding photos. So I always encourage to add about like 8 to 10 photos. You can I like showing like members of your team. In this case, a roofer, I would show like me or a member of my team on a roof. Maybe me and my team like celebrating, if you have like an end of the year celebration, things like that really show like your personality. If you're just a solopreneur, or if you're just like one person show, again, still do the best you can. So if you're a chiropractor, show yourself giving patients adjustments. If you're a tow guy, take a selfie of you towing a car. If you are an acupuncture specialist, show yourself doing acupuncture, etc. For this scenario, I'm going to click not now, but all you would do is click add photos right here, and then it will pop up and you can just attach photos here and then submit it. So we're just going to say not now. All right, cool. So now you can see here, this is really cool. It basically shows you exactly what you're going to show up as. So as someone who sets this up for companies, I like to always do a screenshot of this to show the client what it's going to look like. But essentially, this is where it's going to pop up. So it's going to say, Kyle's awesome roofing business. I put that I opened in 2000, and it's now 2024. So it's going to say 24 years in business. We are open now, and we serve, blank city. And so that's where you can go ahead and click on, or that just kind of shows you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and click, yes, I agree to the onboarding terms, and click next. And this is going to go ahead and load. And then so you'll get to this screen, which is the business verification area. And so there's going to be a few tabs that pop up here in just a second that are going to show you things that you need to do now to submit and verify you are a legitimate business. Basically, the Google local service ads team will review all this information, and they will then let you know, this document is good, this one is not, etc. I don't know why it's not loading. I'm going to go ahead and just refresh. We'll just give it a second here. Okay, cool. Here we go. Okay, so it's saying calls will be routed to, and then the phone number here, messages will be sent to, and same thing, phone number here. So I'm going to go ahead and just click continue. Okay, cool. So in this scenario, I said I was a roofer, so I need to submit a roofer business license. For budget and billing, they kind of go hand in hand. They do. So like for billing, you need to actually have a Google Ads account that will then link to your Google local service ads account. And then you connect it here, and it's going to use the same debit or credit card you have on file to be set up there. Background check, you just click get started. As of right now, they're using a company called Evident. And you submit some basic information as the owner, and then it, within a matter of days, it will let you know if you are approved or not. Business profile, this is going to link to your Google business profile. So I should have mentioned this earlier, but on one of the first few tabs when you're using the address, you need to have a Google business profile with at least one, but preferably about 5 Google business profile reviews or Google My Business reviews. If you don't have a Google business profile, it's somewhat easy to set up. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know who to ask for reviews, ask your family and friends. They can give you what I have, what I refer to as a character review. And this way they can look. So in this case, my name is Kyle. I can have, my dad say, I'm Kyle's dad, and I think he's a great person, and he does a great job with his roofing company. He's super passionate. Post. So you're not like lying to people. Like you can literally say who they are and give a character review. Like you don't have to have, I'm not going to have my dad go and say like, Kyle's the greatest roofer on the planet, and he's done 10 roofs for me, and he's, the greatest mofo ever, in that scenario. So that'll link right here, and it's going to do this automatically. It'll link to whatever address you put. So make sure those two are the same. The Google business profile address on file, and then the address you did for the Google local service application. And then some scenarios, I know some states don't require a business license. So like for my client in Texas, they don't have this roofer business license because that's not a requirement in their state of Texas. I believe Florida is that way as well. And there's a couple other states, but don't quote me on that. It'll be different for each state. This is my current roofing clients who has everything obviously approved already. So they connected their billing, proof of insurance, background check, business profile, reviews, budget, etc. So once you're done, it'll give you this, congratulations, your Google Guaranteed ad is now live. Yay, all right. So the next is you want to go over and you can go to the profile and budget, and then just make sure everything looks accurate. In this scenario, I'm saying that the company is willing to spend $10,000 per week. It's not even spending close to that. This is right now it's November 20th, 2024. So it's a quieter, slower time of year. So there's just not as a demand. So we just say we're willing to spend. I mean, this client is willing to spend 10 grand a week if jobs are coming in, of course, but that's part of the bidding strategy there that I utilize. And then you can see here for this client, same thing like I mentioned, like we didn't say we want to do attic, gutter, other, etc. Then there's some photos of their team here. I personally, I don't like message leads. That's just someone that can email you like a question. I just have found that they're a lot more like tire kickers and just not quite as serious as phone calls. Someone calls you like there's a real need, at least most of the time. And then you can see there's a map here with kind of their service areas. They have their business hours to the side here as well. That's pretty much it. So once you have all this set up, leads coming in. I'm going to go over to leads here. And so I can see right here, so this is where like it'll show you. So for this client, like we only say that we want phone calls. So I can see today's the 20th. Haven't gotten a call like today. We got one yesterday, one day before, a couple on Friday. Look, it's about like one per day as of right now. The great thing is if you didn't know this already, so you can actually get credited back for phone calls that are not related to the service you provide. So like in this scenario, this person called and it was something that was not related to the roofing industry. So you can dispute that and then you get credited back. Like you're literally getting like the best quality leads here. People that are calling in, but only that are quality. So, and what I've seen is if calls are less than 30 seconds, that is something that can be credited back. And this is subject to change, but this is what it is right now. Also, people that are not in your service areas. So like I mentioned, service areas are really important. And like, if you're going to say a whole city, make sure to exclude certain areas if you can. And I think that's pretty much it. So this is what it's going to start to look like. And you can actually like review phone calls as long as you're not in the health industry. Due to HIPAA, you can't review those phone calls. But for like roofing and most local businesses, this is something you can do. Now that you've seen how to walk through step by step the Google Local Service Ads application, I'd encourage you to take the next steps because this is doing exactly what I just showed you is exactly how my roofing client was able to get 4 new jobs in their first 60 days of doing this. And those are very, very high paying jobs. And like I mentioned before, I do this for quite a few companies right now. So if you'd rather skip having to do all this step by step and taking time out of your already busy schedule, click the link below in the description of this video, and I'd be happy to walk you through the Google Local Service Ads application and help you beat your competition and start getting more leads and sales ASAP. Now that you watched this video of how to finish your Google Local Service Ads application, I encourage you to watch the next video popping up on your screen. It is how to get leads in 2025 for contractors.